everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it's that time of the week. It's time for those 1 minute book recs. So this is where we go over all the books we've read in the past week with 1 minute or so synopsises for each one. But before we get started with that, Mandy,
we would love to have you hit that subscribe button if you've not done that yet, and a like and comment below. We love interacting with you in the comments.
Yes, we do.
And those are easy ways you can support our channel.
Mm-hmm.
And tell your friends.
How was your reading week?
I actually had a really good reading week.
Did you?
I finally hit some 5 stars. Yes. It was a good week.
So how many books did you get in?
5.
That's okay. That's fine. Because I only read 6. So, woohoo! Oh, no.
I am shocked by that.
I know. Well, I mean, I technically read 7, but I'm not going to talk about my reread. So.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Anyhow. Okay, well, you don't have to go first. But the first book we are going to talk about that I did is one that I forgot to talk about last week. And I feel like even though it is a reread, it is necessary because it was the audio that I have never listened to. So you ready for that? Okay. All right, do you have my timer ready?
So are you doing 6 total including that, or are you doing 7 now?
7 because of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that threw me off. Yeah.
No, I don't have the timer ready.
Oh, okay.
Now we are ready.
Okay, let's see if we can do this. StreamYard, which is the platform that we record on, has changed the way that we're supposed to swap back and forth between our screens. So let's see if we can handle this today. So, okay. So the first book that the first book that I listened to, which is the one that I forgot last week, is The Daymakers by Grace McGinty. We both picked up these books from Gracie Lou Freebush when we were in at BB4E. So this is her special edition that she did of Daymakers. So this is about Charlotte. It is by Choose. The audio is amazing, and typically you can get it cheaper on Grace's website, like gracemcginty.com, than you can through Audible. Just saying, it's like $5 sometimes, so it's cheaper that way. Anyhow, Charlotte is in an abusive relationship. Her boyfriend sees her talking to somebody or thinks she was looking at somebody or whatever at this club, and he literally beats the crap out of her. We're talking broken ribs, the whole 9. She flees and runs from him, and she's in the alley when this happens. She flees and runs from him because she thinks, and she just knows he's going to kill her. She ends up scaling this fence, like it was really difficult because broken ribs and all, and hiding under a bus. And this is at a stadium. Well, at the stadium, this band that is a masked band, so think Sleep Token, is performing. Nobody knows these guys' identities. But she is discovered by Shep, who is a bodyguard, and they bring her onto the accompanying bus where the nurse and whatever on there. And the next day they get to talking, and I guess there's girls trying to rip off the masks of these guys all the time, these girls that they're having conquest with, and that's a real problem for the band, and she's trying to get away from the boyfriend, so she offers herself as the band girlfriend, but like they have to continue to wear their masks. She doesn't know their identity still. Are you having a hard time?
The timer is not like it's frozen. Like you went, that was way longer than a minute.
Yes, I know. I was waiting for you to swap me over.
Yeah, the timer. I'm gonna try opening the timer that I used because it's like stuck.
Okay. Anyhow, it was a great book. The audio is fantastic. I really like it. The whole masked band thing is a thing now, and I just love with Grace's. I don't get confused on who is who, so it's great. Okay.
My hair is not cooperating.
My hair's not cooperating either. Okay.
Okay. My next book.
Yes.
Your first book. My first book is one that I have literally been waiting for to come out since last November when I read Once Upon a Christmas Tree by Lulu Moore. And it was the prequel to the Valentine Nook series. And the first book is called The Valentine Nook. So I'm so excited that the series is out and now going. So this is the first book in that. I got the ALC for it. It is narrated by James Joseph and Andy Arndt. So Lando is the grumpy Duke that we met in the Once Upon a Christmas tree. He has called off his wedding, and we find out through the story why he did that. But since he's called his wedding off, he has been very grumpy, and his family that he's very close to are like, oh, like, ooh, why is he being such an asshole? Like, he's not normally like this. Well, their mom decides to rent out one of the cottages, and she does to Holiday. Holiday is a Hollywood actress who goes to England kind of just to finally take a break. She's been acting for a very long time, and she's just ready to take a break. Even though her agent tells her this might damage her career, she doesn't care. She takes this break. She runs into Lando, who again, very grumpy Duke. And even though he's very grumpy, she's very attracted to him for more than just his looks. But that really helps his case. And as they start to kind of spend more time together in a forced proximity type situation, that was okay.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out how to flip us over. It wasn't working. Yeah.
So she's staying like in a cottage on all of their land there. And so they're forced kind of together a lot. She becomes good friends with his sister during this time, and it just forces the two of them together. And I just loved it. But we do also have the problem. She is a Hollywood actress who lives in like California, and he is a duke who lives in England. But oh, I loved it so much. I rated it 5 stars, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out in this series.
Okay.
So it was a great way to start my reading week.
Good. Just good. Yeah.
Yes.
I started mine with Aliens again.
Of course you did.
I did. So last week I read.
Raise your hands if you're shocked.
Yeah, I know. There's no hands anywhere.
No one's raising their hand.
I know. So the funny thing is, I really don't read that much Alien. Just this last week, I don't. I hadn't read Alien for quite a while before I picked this up. Anyhow, last week I read the 7 Brides for 7 Alien Brothers series, the first book in that series, by Honey Phillips. And so I continued on with booktube, which is Benjar, because of course we go in alphabetical order. Why can't I do this? Okay, just like the movie 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Have you watched that movie, Mandy?
No, you've brought this to attention more than once.
I'm just asking because our next convincing, I need to know that information. You're like, you won't get it if you haven't watched the movie. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you might. It's still enjoyable, just not the same. Okay, so this is Benjar. What?
I'm pausing your timer. That is and by pausing it, I just gave you your whole minute back. That is actually a possibility for like a book rec video, books based on movies. So like if you love The Princess Bride, read this.
Yeah, write that down.
I will write that down, and as you guys are watching, let us know if that's something you'd like to see from us.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay, Benjar. This is the second book in the series. So this is Alien Forced Proximity. Basically, it still follows the 7 Brides for 7 Brothers theme, where at the end of the first book, the heroine from the first book, it tells the guys, these alien guys who are on this planet that was bought by a man from Earth, and he liked the whole Wild West setting, and so that's what we've got. He wanted to go back to a simpler time. That's what we have here. And so, but she had given them the story of like the 7 Brides for 7 Brothers story, the actual biblical story that it's based on. And so these boys got it into their heads, and I say boys, they're not boys, they're warriors, but they got it into their heads that the way to go about getting wives now that their oldest brother has a wife is by going into town and kidnapping these girls at a dance and bringing them back during a winter storm and causing an avalanche so that they can't go home to their families. And so that is exactly what Benjar does. He actually goes and he kidnaps the girl that he likes the most, and he brings her back to his cabin in the woods, and they are snowed in. He is in. You okay? I don't like those changes at all. I don't like those changes.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do.
Apparently not. Anyhow, I gave it 4 stars. It's a very quick read. There's not a lot of, I mean, there's plot, but it's just, there's not a lot of sustenance to it, you know, but it's still worth it. It's a fun palette cleanser. So then we'll continue on with the next book shortly. So 4 stars.
Okay. We're very sorry for all of the technical difficulties we will be experiencing in this video.
StreamYard changing things up on us. Okay.
And I quote, makes it easier.
Yeah. I beg to differ, StreamYard. I beg to differ.
Oh,
I mean,
anytime
who
updates
tested
make
this out?
something easier, I feel like it really just complicates
I
it.
feel like the people that are like their test subjects are like geniuses where they're like, yeah, this is easy. This is so simple. A monkey could do it. And then they hand it out to us monkeys and we're like, no, it's not.
Well, maybe it's easier on like a computer where you have like a mouse and you're navigating. Maybe
Yeah,
that works better. I don't know.
but not for us.
All right.
Okay.
Keeping my great reading streak,
Okay.
I had The Arc for Undeniably Corrupt by Jay Saman.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
And oh my gosh, it's so good. So this is part of the Boston's Irresistible Billionaires series. So this is Vander's story. So we finally have gotten to Vander. We've gone through pretty much the entire friend group, and Vander is our elusive like hacker dude. And he works in what he calls his closet. And basically he locks himself in this room and just will work an obscene amount of time without eating, sleeping, any of that. And he decides to go down to the local bakery, coffee shop next to his building, and he looks very disheveled, like a crazy person, just completely disheveled, not his normal self at all. And he realizes that the person taking his order is Leora, who he dated when they were teenagers, and they have like this tragic love story because when her brother dies, it was his best friend, and he kind of ups and leaves her, and they have not seen each other in many years. And so he comes back later because he actually doesn't really want her to recognize him in that moment, and basically gets her fired from her job because he wants her to come work for him. He does a little hacking and realizes like her life is not going very well for her. Like she lives in a really crappy part of town. Her ex ran off and took all of their money. You can switch me back,
Okay.
maybe.
I didn't hear a timer.
And left her and their like 2-year-old daughter, and he like left her with a mountain of debt and took all their money and ran. And so he wants to fix everything for her, and he goes about it in a very intrusive way by getting her fired and forcing her to come work for him. But there's also like a whole kind of like romantic suspense element to this because there's some stuff going on with why she has no contact with her dad anymore, and like a little bit of mob stuff happening. So I loved it. I rated it 5 stars.
Okay.
I've
Awesome.
enjoyed this whole series though. And I realized there's one, I think it's book number 2 that I haven't read. This is book 7. I don't know how I missed book 2. So I got to go back and get that done. So I've
Yeah, you
completed
do.
the series.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I took a break from Aliens and I went to an
Really?
Omegaverse. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There you do.
Yeah.
That sounds like you.
What caught me with this one is I was watching a TikTok, as one does, and it was advertising it, but it was talking about how there is like a text thread going on when you mistakenly text somebody, and it's and asking about disposing a dead body, like jokingly, and that person actually comes back with responses, and it starts up a relationship. Well, that's the first part of this book. It's very, very short part of it, but it's the first part of it. So that's what intrigued me. But this is called Nodding with a Stranger. It's by Harley Knight. And it is why aren't you working? Okay, it is white shoes. It didn't feel like it in the beginning, and then eventually we meet the other guys. So this is about Lily. She is a baker. She runs a bakery with her sister, and her sister is not around for whatever reason, and she's getting frustrated. She's working on, I think it was a wedding cake or something that she's working on, and so she texts her sister about hiding a dead body, and lo and behold, it wasn't her sister that she texted. It was this other guy, or it was this guy that she texted, and she doesn't know who he is. She doesn't have his number because her sister keeps changing her phone number or something. I can't remember why it didn't go to the sister. And James messages back, and he's like, because she says something about burning the body or dipping it in lye, and he's like, no, that's not going to work because it leaves too much evidence around or something. And so they spark up a conversation. They text for weeks, and then he just kind of ghosts her, and she doesn't know what's going on or where he went to. Well, she ends up having to work a job, like cater a job, and she gets caught in a snowstorm. She gets rescued by this burly hot guy. who does search and rescue. And because she's in a storm, he takes her to his cabin where his buddy is there, who is somebody who came into the store a couple of weeks prior, and she immediately hit it off with this guy. And lo and behold, James shows up. Now, she doesn't know what he looks like. He knows it's her because the town she says she's from and the bakery that she's from. James was in prison, and he had a contraband, good job, prison cell phone. And so he had been texting her from prison. And when she finds out about this, she's not very happy. It's one where it's forced proximity because they're together because it's a snowstorm. Really enjoyed the first half. The last half, it kind of drug a little bit for me, but I still give it 4 stars. I still enjoyed the story. It is more of a sweet Omegaverse. I kind of thought like, ooh, if he was in prison, like this would be really good. No, it wasn't dark at all. But still, it was still good.
Okay.
I like it darker. Okay.
Well, speaking of darker,
Ooh,
my next book is by an author who we are interviewing right after we're done recording this.
Oh, yeah.
And that should be out on Wednesday. So you're definitely going to want to tune in on Wednesday for that. So my next book is Pretty Monster by Sheridan Ann. So she is released, I think it's a re-release of the audio is coming out. And so Valentine PR sent me the ALC for that, and Jessica's already read the story, so I have not read it. Even the book's been just sitting on my shelf. So I listened to it, and it is by Sierra Klein and CJ Gray. Phenomenal audio, by the way. So this is about Reed. Reed is I forgot to set my timer. Sorry. Reed is the whole StreamYard changing their thing is really messed with my mind. So Reed is a killer. He likes to stalk women and then kill them. So this is dark romance, if I didn't make that clear already. And he has been stalking Kaya for some time. But for whatever reason, he's kind of enjoying like messing around with her a little bit, kind of messing with her mind and that sort of thing, and like really getting in on the stalking and kind of playing a game with her with it. And in the meantime, Kaya she must be very popular on the block that she lives on because she has quite a lot of suitors happening right now. And we'll just say that Reed may not be super impressed with that. And I'm going to leave it at that because there's a lot that happens in this. It is a dark romance, like I said. Mm-hmm. It is really good. It's one of those where you're like, oh, why have I enjoyed this so much? But I rated it 5 stars. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I went back to aliens because
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to act like this is not your thing.
Not typically my thing. Dark stuff is typically my thing. I mean,
whatever you
every
need to
once
say
in a while.
Sleep better at night.
Oh, I have no problem sleeping. We're good. So this was a reread for me. Last week I talked about the V.K. Ludwig book that I did in her Vandalahar Concubine series. I went to the book. Oh my goodness, book 3 in the Vandalahar Concubine series, and that is Turn Left for Stars. I forgot about this one. I really enjoyed this one. I think the most out of all of them because this is book 3 in the series. I think there's 4 or 5 books in the series. This is about Izzy and Adrian. So at this point, our heroine from the second book has started up a dating agency for these Vandalahar males to go to Earth, or for Earth women to come to their planet because they're on not the planet the first 2 books take place. We're on the home world for these Vandalahar dudes. And one of the things they do is they go through this Sock Menti is the name of this school, and they become Socks, which is basically they learn how to please women, and the women on their planet normally take 2, 3, 4, 5 guys into their home as their Socks, and that's who takes care of them. And it's because there's like not enough women on their planet, so that's why. Anyhow, Izzy is from Earth. She's got warrants out for her arrest on Earth. We find out about this in the second and third book, why, but she's got warrants out for her arrest. And so she's good friends with our heroine from the second book. And so she goes to Vandalahar as like the ambassador to kind of set up this dating agency. But the planet, the people who run that planet, want her to take in no less than 3 psychs. She's like the trial person. So she's at the Sock Menti. She's trying to choose who these guys are. When we meet Adrian, who is the hero, and he's in class learning about women anatomy, and they start describing the clitoris like a penis, And so all the guys want nothing to do with Izzy because they think that she has a tiny penis in her pants. It's hilarious. The first half is hilarious. But she starts teaching him about women, and it's like a whole thing. But still, she's supposed to be taking in 3 guys. And so there's that kind of going between them. I loved it. I love that she teaches him. They become friends before they become lovers, and it's great. I loved it. I still loved it. I think it was 4 stars the first time around. I'd still stick with that. A solid 4. So.
Okay.
What's your next?
So this week on our channel, or this coming weekend, we have a lot happening. So Friday, which is September 26th, at 6 p.m. Pacific, we are doing our book club read, which is
Sarah Kate.
Gravity.
Okay.
By Sarah Kate. So that's part of the Wild Boys duet. So I did read that. I won't talk about it because I'm going to talk about it at book club. So make sure you come to book club and talk about this. And I think I may have called this my Mystic Box edition. This is actually Belle. Sorry.
That's why I don't have it. Because I was like, I don't think I have that.
Yeah. So Gravity is the first book in the duet. So come hang out with us on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we will have book club. We also, on Sunday, which would be the 28th at 1 p.m. on our channel, we are hosting our buddy read. And I am halfway through the book, which is Slay Less by Tyler Page. So we would love to see you guys this weekend. That's at 1 p.m. on our channel. I don't know if I said that. And we do that with Amber and Jen. So all are welcome to come participate. Even if you haven't read the books, you're welcome to join us for both of those or one of them. Just there could be spoilers.
Yeah. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or Pacific. Are we still in daylight? We are Pacific Daylight Time? Whatever. 1 p.m. on the West Coast. 4 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. Okay. Hey, sometimes you got to go over that. Anyhow, ready for my next book?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you're thrilled. I went back to the 7 Brides for 7 Alien Brothers. So I read
can
Callum.
see what you read, so I find it ironic that you're like, I don't read a lot of Alien.
Yeah, bite me. Okay, so this is Callum and Pearl. Callum is the 3rd brother, obviously, to get a book in this series. He's older than the other guys. He was kind of a little bit of a caretaker to the first guy in the first book, Adrian. And then
according to the cover, he's odd looking.
He's very odd looking. Anyhow, they're all a little odd looking. So is the heroine if you look at the cover. Anyhow, Pearl is our heroine. She is the older sister to the heroine from the 2nd book. And Pearl was married off when she was 18. Her father totally just married her off when she was 18 to an abusive prick. And he's no longer with us, which is great. But she obviously has some trauma from that, and she really doesn't want to be married. She doesn't really want a guy in her life. She still flinches and stuff when guys kind of, surprise her. And she discovers in the middle of the night that her sister is missing. And so she goes after her sister. And Callum discovers what his other brothers are doing as far as going to get these girls. So he goes to try and stop them. And when she's coming through the pass trying to save her sister, that is when the avalanche happens. And it sends her barreling towards this little outpost where this guy lives, because he kind of stays away from everybody, and he doesn't think he deserves a human or a woman, and it's like a whole thing. But she and him get snowed in together, and things happen when you're snowed in together. Very, very compassionate alien. He was very compassionate. 4 stars. It was a fun palate cleanser.
Also, we may need to issue an apology to StreamYard now that I understand how the button works. It is a lot easier.
Okay. What you got next?
Now that I'm not kicking you off the show. Okay, my last read is an ALC, and this just came out, and that is Unrequited by Jane Henry. It is part of her Bravada Kings series, and it's narrated by Wen Ross and Kai Kennicott. They always do a phenomenal job on these mafia ones. So we have Zoya. She is a Russian mob princess. Now, her parents were killed when she was younger, so at 18, her older brother became in charge of all of the younger siblings, and he has done his best to run the mafia business world, or whatever we want to call it. And take care of things. And so he tells Zoya he needs to talk to her and is going to basically be telling her it is time for her to be arranged marriage off. But before we get to that part, Zoya is ready for some independence in her life. And so she starts sneaking off once a week and going to a local pub. And there she meets James. We'll call him James. And she really likes James, and they start to kind of fall for each other, but they only see each other once a week at this pub. And this goes on for several months. And then she finds out that she is going to be getting married off. And then there is some betrayal that happens because James is not actually James. James is Seamus, and he is the undertaker for the Irish mob. But she has fallen in love with him. And he may have fallen for her too. The Irish mob and the Russian mob do not like each other.
How do they spell Seamus?
It's Seamus. Seamus?
Are you sure? Seamus.
Seamus?
That's what my brain's telling me it should be if they're Irish. But
Seamus. Yeah, that's
Seamus.
right. It's Seamus. But it's spelled Seamus?
Yeah, those Irish names are hard. They're very hard.
But she knows him as James.
What do they call
Everyone
him,
else
James?
knows him as the Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really good. I rated it 5 stars. So I had a really great reading week. I'm out.
Okay, I just got 2 left. All right. My next one is going to be really quick. There's not a lot that I can say about it because it is a novella. It's very short. But L.V. Lane is rebranding her Alien series. I didn't even know that L.V. Lane had an Alien series. So she sent me this as an ARC. This is the first book in the series. It is, she's branding them under a different pen name. So they're under Ada Storm now. But this is Punished. And again, it's very, very short. It is about Avery and Hayden. This is a different take on the whole alien abduction kind of thing, because that's not necessarily what happens here. Our heroine is an author, and she has written several books with Hayden as the main male character or the main alien character in the story. And she's put him through hell as an alien or as a main character. And she promised him, like, kind of in her head, like how authors talk to their characters take over the book sometimes. She'd promised him that she wouldn't write any more books because she's literally made his life hell. And well, she reneges on that promise. She goes back on that promise. And so then she ends up in this kind of like headspace or this area where he's there and he is angry with her for writing again or starting to write again. And there's punishment that ensues for that. And there's other things that happen. That's all I'm going to say about it. It was very, very different. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I want to see what else we got going on because she sent me other arcs for the rest of the books too. So they're the ones she's got out now. So there you go. Okay, ready for my 5-star book of the week?
Yes.
Okay, this is not Alien, just so you know. You already know, you can see. So I picked up Hideaway Whirlwind by May Alder. This is the 4th book in her Big Boys of Berenson trucking series. It might be easier, but it's harder for me to remember that it's there. Okay, anyhow, this is about Tegan and Elliot. So like I said, this is the 4th book in that series. This one has darker themes. It's not necessarily dark. It just has darker themes in the first 3 books. But Tegan is a young mom. She has 3 little ones at home, and she is pregnant with a 4th. The baby daddy is dead. He was a drug addict, and some things have happened. But his mom is very abusive towards her. And she's friends with Goldie from the 2nd book. She's living in Vegas, and she calls Goldie one day after being beat up by this guy's mom. And nobody knows about this pregnancy. She is hiding this pregnancy. And she calls Goldie one day and says, I'm ready. It's time to go. I'm ready to get out. Get me and my babies out. And she said, Goldie's like, I will send the closest person to you. Well, the closest person is Elliot. He is the brother to the owner of that we saw in the 3rd book. And he goes and gets what he needs. He goes and bolts like car seats and stuff to his above his bed and stuff in the back of his truck. And he shows up and he rescues them and he brings them back to his home in Texas. When he gets them to his home in Texas, there is like an ice storm. And so then they are snowed in or blizzard in or whatever you want to call it for several days at the house. She is young. She's 22. She was in a cult. She was married off when she was like 14 and had her first baby at 15. So she's a very, very, very young mom. He is 55. The kids, the little one calls him Santa when she meets him. It's great. I gave it 5 stars. This is my favorite so far in the series. I loved their story because they are both broken. They both have things that they're hiding from, and it was just so good. I loved it.
I need to go read that.
Yeah. The whole series is fabulous. I've enjoyed the whole series.
Okay.
Okay, so that was 5 stars. That was my last book of the week.
All right.
Okay.
We can wrap up.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, don't forget, because I just literally talked about it a couple of minutes ago. So hopefully you've not forgotten about book club and our Buddy Read coming up this weekend. And we actually have some really great author interviews lined up. So definitely when I say usually Wednesdays, you're going to want to start checking back on Wednesdays, starting with this Wednesday.
Yes.
So with that, make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and Wednesdays for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.